Hey all, Kurt Sasso here from Two Geeks Talking at home. But, sorry, I was in convention mode for a second there. Still haven't, Fan Expo Canada hasn't worn off yet. But welcome to Two Geeks Talking, where we specialize in comics, TV, film, music, and video games as entertainment interviews. And of course, this is another great interview, another creative and talented person who we have had on the show in the past. He is joining us today. You remember him way back when on, I believe, episode 321 or whatever number it's at now, for the Kings of the Wasteland, the Kings of the Wasteland.com. He is, of course, a creator of HoundComics.com. You know him as Delbert Hewitt Jr., which you can find his DeviantArt, which is Del Hewitt Jr. That's two T's. .deviantart.com. Talking about his newest Kickstarter campaign. How you doing today, Del?
Doing well.
Oh man, it's been too long. It's like when guests starts merging together in your mind, and when they come back on, it's like I remember you, and I remember your awesome art, and I just don't remember your face just yet, but now I do. So welcome
Well,
back.
thank you. When you're busy, like you are, it's easy to do.
Well, I
Episode
think
what, 300 and something now?
well, no, we're in the. I'm renumbering them, so we're
Oh,
we're
okay.
back into the. I'm combining the convention interviews with everything else that I've done too. So I'm getting a general number system, and I think if I've calculated correctly, which I probably haven't, math was never my strong suit. I should be in the 800 range. So
Oh, wow. That's a lot of interviews.
in 6 years, so I'm in my seventh anniversary. But don't worry about me. Let's talk about you here. You're the guest of the show, not me. Everyone can talk about me anytime. Um, you've done a lot with yourself in the past couple of years. The Kings of the Wasteland was a successfully kickstarted comic
Yeah,
book, so
yeah,
that was awesome.
yes.
The fact that you've done great work on DeviantArt, you have a wonderful comic style, both DC Marvel type style as well too. You're doing amazing there. But you're back with volume two now of your sketchbook on Kickstarter.
Yes.
Why did you want to come back to Kickstarter?
Um, it was really good experience. Even the first time I did it for Ebony Kiss and it failed, I still had a great experience. Met a lot of really cool people, and it was such an encouraging experience. I want to do it again. So definitely excited, especially when you get a successful Kickstarter and you see the book actually printed. It's you definitely have a vision for other things you want to see printed as well. So it
That's
was a
awesome.
no-brainer for me.
Well, talk about volume two of your sketchbook here, because
Yeah,
from the brief images that I've seen, it's you do color, you do black and white, you do great line work and great inking as well too. What is the biggest draw to volume two then?
um, I think well, I'm not proficient in coloring, so I have my good friend Juan Marquez, and
Mhm.
he's doing the colors for most of the pieces that are in color. I love his stuff, and so we work in good tandem together. So for this second volume, I wanted it. The first volume I did in ebook form on Lulu.com, but I wanted to do it a little bit differently this time. I want to actually have it printed. I have it at conventions, and so I figured this was kind of a no-brainer. Also, I wanted to show people, it's hard when you're working on a comic and people don't get to see what you're doing. And so I want to give people a sneak preview of what I'm working on behind the scenes so they can um, see the actual comic book work, not just Kings of the Wasteland I'm working on, but I'm also working on Ebony Kiss, and I'm on page 10 at this moment. And so I just want to give people a sneak preview into all the stuff I've working on. The Kings of the Wasteland and Ebony Kiss will be coming out through houndcomics.com. And so I just wanted people to see what I'm working on. Because I released the first volume in 2010, and so it's been 4 years. So I just think it's time to do volume two and show people not just what I'm capable of doing, but also what I'm going to do in the future. So, can't hear you. Something's wrong with the sound. I can't hear anything you're saying. Can you hear me? Okay. Why can't I hear you? Oh, there we go.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, strange. Uh, where was I? Oh yes, what I was saying was 4 years is a long time, not only for a sketchbook, but it also shows that being an artist, it should show progress unless you're doing something really badly.
Right, right, definitely. I think you'll definitely see that. I think if you um, once it's successfully funded, you get volume one and two, and so you get to see that progression easily. I think even from the cover piece to the latest stuff I'm doing now is just night and day almost. Um, but that's what you're supposed to see after 4 years. So uh, I'm definitely pleased with the results. And even I think the biggest thing you'll see is the inking. I've definitely
Mm,
gotten better with inking than in the first volume. Um, I've learned a lot more and been doing a lot of self teaching, like on YouTube and things like that.
yeah,
So I definitely improved on the inking part. If I can get some color down, that'd be great. But uh, it's a work in progress. I take one step at a time.
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. You don't want to rush this type of stuff, or else you're going to be frustrated with everything.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's talk about some of the challenges in the past 4 years that you've had to face. Maybe not necessarily art style wise, but maybe from a creative perspective. What have you had to deal with that might have maybe put a either pause on your artwork, or maybe caused you to delay some progress in your own work?
Definitely life.
Darn you,
uh,
life! Darn you!
um, three kids can
Wow.
definitely take a lot of your time. I definitely love them and I want to take care of them. So I got to do, our thing late at night, and that can be kind of hard. Working all day and get up in the wee hours of the morning. So it slowed it down, but it hasn't stopped it, which is
Mm,
great. Um, and also learning process of how to make a comic. That
mm,
takes time. When I did the Kings of the Wasteland Kickstarter, I learned about the whole printing process. That was a
mm,
whole thing to deal with. One thing I never thought about was when you're making a comic and you're printing it, they one page holds 2 pages of comics, of two
mm.
comic book pages. My mind wasn't on that, so I, I had to do some more pages to make sure everything filled out correctly, and so it was just a learning process when you're dealing with printing and you know uh, and that whole step, and then two, um, the whole coloring process. Um, I thought I could do it on my own, but it just is. It's just like any other art form. When you learn to be a penciler, you focus on that and you get good at proficient in that. And coloring is the same way. So for me, I would rather go to somebody who's proficient in it, that
Mhm.
can get it done at a faster pace and have it look much better than my colors. So, but when you do that, that costs money.
Yeah.
Nobody's for free, so you have to pay somebody to do your colors, and that's been a process too. So, is life, the process,
Mhm.
and financial.
Of
So
course.
all three of those has been a learning process, and so it's great because now I'm to the point where I'm right there um, at the edge. I'm almost pretty much done. I just have to get it colored and it'll be ready to go and send to Hong Comics and they'll produce it. So I'm right at the cusp of producing my first official book under a label. So I'm pretty
Nice.
excited about that.
That's awesome. And all the more reason to go to the Kickstarter page, which we'll have in the show notes as well. to help that out too, because it's great to see creators, no matter what they're doing. Kickstarter seems to be that gateway. Indiegogo as well too, for that matter, is another avenue where people, artists in particular, seem to have a good amount of success, I should say, when it comes to putting out books and art. Art is just timeless. Art, you can pick up a piece of art, look at a piece of art, 5, 10 years down the road, and still be amazed by the line work, by the color, by everything like that, no matter what it is.
True. I definitely agree with that. It's like when you have something printed, it's almost like it's immortal. It's there forever. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Well, let's kind of dive in a little more philosophical here, because it's just something I've been doing lately. Um, Everyone has that. And by the way, if I have asked you these questions and I can't remember, that's just me. Don't worry about it. It's just me. Everyone has that one person or two people that kind of inspire them when on their path to where they are today. Who are they for you?
Um, I mean, I think along the way, there's been a lot of different people. I think to start, definitely my parents. When you have people to encourage you in doing what you love is always, something that's gonna inspire you to do great things. Um, so, if family wise, it would be my parents, but professionally wise, it would probably be Sanford Green,
Hmm,
Adam Weathers, Comfort Love.
of course.
Uh, those definitely stick out in my mind. Um, Definitely Sean Crystal. Uh, he's the head of the comic department at SCAD, and he's helped me out a lot, and he gave me great perspective on the whole process of creating art. So there's definitely a lot of people that had their hands in it and has gotten me to the point where I am now, where um, my vision is to see a dream fulfilled and not let anything stop me from achieving that goal. So
Awesome. Um, if there were five comic books that you could never live without, what would they be?
nice. Hmm, Definitely Watchmen. Love
Hmm.
Watchmen. Um, just the fact that they it just gives you a real life perspective on comics and something that you wouldn't normally look at or think about. Um, uh, Definitely, Watchmen would be number one. Number two is Dark Knight. Um, Frank
Frank
Miller.
Frank Miller, yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love his work on that. The black and whites, and that is incredible. I mean, you don't even need color; it can just be black and white. It's just awesome, and the story was so great and compelling. Daredevil, the Frank Miller, John Romita
Hmm.
Jr.
Okay.
Run that was just great. I mean, that's one of my favorite. I think the movie was based on it too. But definitely love that series.
Two more.
Hmm, I'm trying not to. I'm trying to decide which one to pick on. I have so many. I would say Mouse Guard
Oh yeah.
by
David Peterson.
David Peterson. Yeah, I love that whole. Well,
Hmm.
you sleep on Kings of the Wastelands. I love the animals, human thing. I mean, that's just awesome to me. Um, and definitely have to be X Men. Either it's so hard between the Jim Lee run or the John Burns run.
Uh,
Dark Phoenix Saga.
yeah.
Probably Dark Phoenix Saga, only because one of the first cherished comics was the one John Burns did when Leland with his gravity powers on Wolverine, and he got sunk down to the sewers, and he just was gutting the guards left and right to get back to the top. It's just so awesome. The one scene where he looks up at the camera and he's like has the claws out and he's gutted a guard is just excellent. I'm the anti-hero guy. I love anti-heroes, as you could tell.
Nice.
Um, Hiroshi from Watchmen,
Mhm.
Batman from Dark Knight Returns, and uh, Wolverine. Those are my love those guys. It's great.
Awesome. Um, Shoot, I had something here. It was good. Oh yes, Death of Wolverine is coming out here. Since you're a big anti-hero type guy, eh, was it time to kill off Wolverine?
Um, well, see, I read manga as well,
Oh
which
yeah,
is
okay.
Japanese
Of
comics,
course, I love that stuff.
and they don't cherish they cherish the story over the characters.
Mhm.
So it's not like I think a lot of times in America we get caught up in okay, this is the main character, he's making lots of money, everybody loves him, we can't kill him. Um, and they don't do that,
Anime.
in manga
Mm.
comics. Anybody can die anytime.
Yeah.
So um, it would be sad for me to see him go, but and I love him, I always love him, but we just can't keep. He's not gonna live. I mean, he could live forever, but I'm just saying, keep a character around for like 60 years is just unless you're Superman. I mean, it shouldn't be like Batman. He should be like 80 years old and dead. That's just my opinion.
Oh, good stuff. Okay, then if you were to, gosh forbid, pass on, and someone went through your playlist on your iPod or your MP3 list, what would be the most embarrassing song you would have?
Oh wow. Do I even want to say that? um, mm, I don't know. I don't think I have anything embarrassing. I have a big variety of different kinds of music. Hmm. I think people will be surprised by what they hear. I don't think it's gonna be embarrassing. Like I have merengue and salsa, which I don't think you would could tell just by talking to me. That's there. And then you can't go wrong with the classics. So I have a lot of Stevie Wonder,
Hmm.
Billy Joel. I mean, I have a little bit of everything. And uh, Kanye West. I love hip hop. I mean, so I have a lot of different variety, but I don't think there's anything embarrassing that. I mean,
Okay.
if you hear the stuff from, it's classics. So can't be
All right.
embarrassed by that. I think you'd be surprised. I think you'd be surprised more than I would be embarrassed.
Fair enough. All right. Hmm. What was the? I'm not sure. Have you played video games lately, or were you much of a video game player?
Yes, grew up on
Okay,
video games.
beautiful. Uh, Favorite game that would also put you into a rage if you lost?
Street Fighter.
No,
Love
that
Street
was
Fighter.
instantaneous. That was
Yeah, yeah. I've played it my entire life, and so um, I remember just getting the Super Nintendo just to play Street Fighter
Mm,
2 Turbo on
yep.
it, and I remember callousing my thumbs because I just played it all night. Of course, in secret, parents didn't know, especially on a school night. But they made a mistake of putting a TV in my room, and that turned the volume all the way down and just Hawookens all night long. So, but I'm a very competitive person by nature, so I'm trying to win every game. I've lost a lot of games, but it will definitely motivate me to practice to come back better the
Mm.
next time. So,
Much like your artwork, then, in terms of being a creative person too.
yeah, definitely.
Um, hmm. When it comes down to it, though, you've had success as a professional artist. Do you consider yourself personally successful?
Yeah, I think so. I think I will feel more so that way once I get these books out through Hong Comics. um, and so I think, I think that's why I took over doing the art for Ebony Kiss, because it's hard finding somebody to get it done, and then it was been delayed for so long that I just wanted it to be done. And the original vision was for me to draw it anyway, so I think um, I had to overcome my fear of what it would look like and just do it. And so, being 10 pages in, I'm definitely satisfied with the results, and I'm super excited to get that book finished and on the shelf. So, I think once I get published, I'll feel more so successful having an official published book through Home Comics. But I definitely feel that way for sure.
That's great news. Hmm. If there was one artist you had to pick that any place in any point in time that
Okay.
you could be mentored by or you could shadow for your comic career, who would that be?
Wow, so many choices. I Jim Lee. I mean, I love Jim Lee. I've loved him from day one. And so, and just see his evolution, like how he always stays relevant. Um, I remember when he went over to DC and he was challenged that he couldn't do a weekly book, and he went and did Hush. It was
Yeah.
just so excellent. Like he came back with a vengeance, and I just love the way he can reinvent himself to be relevant even to today. And as an artist, if you can do that, you'll be around for a long time. Um, there's many people in the past like Frank Miller, John Byrne. I mean, there's so many people that stay relevant over a large amount of time, um, that I would have to say Jim Lee, because he definitely has spanned, so much time from being the head guy, the cash money guy on X Men, leaving that at the height of his popularity to do Image, leaving that to go to DC, and just he just always stays relevant, and that's just somebody I would love to be mentored by. That'd be awesome.
The younger generation, they're looking to you as an inspirational person. You know, you've had success with Kickstarters in the past. I'm sure you'll have success with this newest Kickstarter that's coming up as well too. Um, what's one piece of advice that you could give them to maybe inspire them to be better than they are now?
Um, always get advice, and look towards your peers to like when I failed on the first Kickstarter, I went to all the people that had Kickstarters and just asked them what I could do to be better. What can I do to change it and be successful next time? And across the board, they all helped me. They all responded, had great advice, and taking that advice, that's why I was able to be successful the second time. So if you're anything, I mean, this applies to anything. You want to do something, find somebody who's doing it, and get into their head and find out everything you can about that profession or whatever you want to do, and learn from them. Um, and that's going to help you. And that's why I picked, Sean Crystal, Sanford Green, um, Adam Weathers, Comfort Love, because those are all people that helped me
Mhm.
to get to where I am today. And so if I didn't ask them questions, if they didn't tell me the harsh things they needed to hear, I wouldn't be here. So definitely ask questions, and find somebody who is doing what you want to do, and get in their head and find out what you need to do to get there.
Two last questions. One last question is, what's one thing that people don't know about you in terms of being an artist?
Um, I think that I'm always working, but nobody sees it. So um, it's always behind the scenes stuff. I think that's why I wanted to do the Kickstarter, because even though you haven't, you've seen stuff on DeviantArt and those kind of things, you haven't really seen me. do anything over the past 4 years, even though I'm doing stuff.
Mm.
If you go to the webcomic Kings of the Wasteland, you see I was doing that, over time. But um, when you're doing things for people that you can't share, people think you don't do anything because you don't show anything. But
Mm.
you can't show something that you're obligated to keep under wraps. So,
Yeah.
um, and that's a great motivator for me to do my own work, so I can show people what I'm doing. But I would say, um, I just want to show people that I am working constantly and constantly trying to get better, and working on my storytelling and trying to get that to where it needs to be. I think a lot of times I try to do everything, and that kind of slows the whole process down because um, I'm not naturally a writer, even though I can create things and design things. I'm not naturally a colorist, and so those things I tried to do over this past 4 years to learn and get better in, but it just kind of stopped me from doing what I do best, which is penciling and inking. So um, I just want to get back to that so I can show people that there's stuff that I'm working on that you'd be pretty impressed by. I think if you see it.
Awesome. Good stuff there, Del. Appreciate it. Is there anything that I haven't brought up that you would like those that are watching and listening to this show to know about?
Just the Kickstarter, man. Go, check it out, and share it. Even if you can't put anything towards it, if you just share it, that's huge. That's exposing me to people that I don't know, I'm not normally exposed to. So definitely, my forefront of my mind is just getting this Kickstarter funded so that I can provide, more books and more things for you guys to see.
That's great. Good stuff. Well, I hate to say it, but time really does actually fly when it comes to doing interviews. It's amazing, huh?
Right. It seems like we just started.
I know. It's crazy. As much as I would love to keep going with this particular interview, and Del, you're always an amazing person to talk with
Thank you. I
and,
appreciate it.
and enjoy, and I'm glad I've tested a couple of new questions with you there, and they sounded like they worked out well, so I'm going to keep
Yeah.
using those this time. Um, then I just want to thank you for
Well,
coming on the show.
I really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. And of course, you can see Dell's work at hopefully at houndcomics.com, thekingsofthewasteland.com, Dell Hewitt, two T's, Jr. No, that's JR. .deviantart.com. And of course, the Kickstarter campaign, Search for 1H7 Volume 2, the number 2, sketchbook, or look on the link that's actually going to be attached to his podcasting page, as well as this YouTube video. But, as I said, that ends this particular episode of Two Geeks Talking. Of course, I'm your host, Kurt Sasso. There we go. I have Twitter, at Kurt Sasso. I'm on Facebook. Search for Two Geeks Talking. That's that icon right there. See, Two Geeks Talking. I'm on YouTube, which is tgtmedia.com. I'm also on Instagram, at Kurt Sasso, or search Kurt Sasso. Just search social media. I'm going to be in this section here. There you go. It's going to be all that stuff. There. And if you like it, if you like me, click on like. If you like this interview, click like. If you like subscribe, it's somewhere on one of these areas. And finally, tune in next week for another wonderful, great, and talented creative person on Two Geeks Talking. And thanks once again for watching and listening.
Bye.